Ready for the softer side of cybersecurity with Sunsets and Snowdrifts. With your podcast host, Senior Sunset and Mr. Snowdrift, Evan and Kennedy.
Well, hello, everybody. Yes.
Hold on, we have a comment from our producer. What are you saying? Sweet.
Awesome. Well, we'll
Thank
try that.
Now, get ready for the softer side of cybersecurity with Sunsets and Snowdrifts. With your podcast host, Senior Sunset and Mr. Snowdrift, Evan and Kennedy.
All right. Hello and welcome, everybody. Nice to have you all here. As you may notice, we have a little bit of a different look today. So our usual Michael Kennedy is present, but we are minus an Evan today. So we have a very special guest for you. I will let Andrew introduce himself.
Do we
Hey,
think
everyone.
Evan?
Yeah.
Do we think
Go ahead.
Evan's out in the ocean somewhere diving, or should we have any concern about this? I guess.
Well, I mean, I did look it up after it came up last episode. There is, in fact, an extradition treaty between us and Mexico, so it is entirely possible. I mean, not to start any rumors, but
Sorry about that. Andrew, go ahead. Introduce yourself. We have special guest today.
Special guest, not that special. Andrew Tewksbury, CEO here at Astra. Great to meet everyone. Looking forward to some impromptu, lively conversation with a couple of my friends here.
I mean, just be prepared. There's a lot of circle talking,
Sure.
scrolling by occasionally. Just how it goes.
I have less facial hair and less ADD than the others, so I might be a little more focused, but we'll figure it out.
Are you insinuating you have less facial hair than I do?
I shaved this morning. I don't know. What do you think?
Okay, all right, I'll remember that. Well, we are here today. It is cold, so I can't really complain. It's not as cold where I live. I don't know. We're at least in the positive temperatures, but you guys have been in the negative double digits all week long. Hey, who's that guy?
So this was, I'm a little late. What's up, guys?
Hey.
Welcome to the party.
There's a party?
Yep, we got a party now. We were a little worried. Mel was researching extradition treaties to see if you got picked up for hacking her bidet. I assumed you were probably diving with some whales.
No,
So
nothing like that. I just forgot.
Huh.
I was playing piano. My dog was barking at me. I looked at my phone and somebody texted me and said, "Hey, Evan, hope all is well. Missing you on this podcast today." And so,
Weird.
yeah. So here, who's the new guy?
It's Andrew.
Filling
What's he
in.
do?
Less facial
What's-
hair, but I'm here.
What's he do?
He's
Wow.
CEO over here at this.
Holy
fancy Oscar
shit!
company.
All right, I should have brought my A game.
Or at least
I don't
one of your
have any game.
dogs.
And Mel, what's the new look? You look awesome.
Well, thank you, Evan.
Yeah.
I'm very sporty today.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Like little debonair. Is that a word?
it is a word. Yeah.
Yeah, you
Thank
look
you.
debonair.
Have an event after this. I'm going to go play pickleball with some ladies. So, I had to get all ready for that.
Are you guys pretty competitive when you play pickleball?
I've never played before. It's actually an event for our Alliance of Channel Women networking group. And so I'm excited, though. I'm ready.
You look ready.
You
Thank
just
you.
got to stay in the kitchen.
Yeah. So what did I miss?
Stay
What
out-
were we
stay
going to
out
talk
in-
about?
Out of the
Some,
kitchen.
out of the kitchen. Stay out of the kitchen. Just remember.
Were you guys already
kitchen.
talking about security stuff when I got here?
No.
Not even
We were just getting started. We were fretting over where you were, and then we were just going to start talking about how Andrew doesn't have any beard and how he still became CEO at Astra. So that was
Andrew,
funny.
are you working on that?
It could be. I'm not. I actually shaved this morning, so we're starting over day one.
You probably don't have the problem that Michael and I have, where you have like 3-4 chins you're trying to hide.
Yep.
Depends on which angle you go.
My chin's about right here. Right.
I don't even want to tell you how many chins I got under here. It's top secret.
That was a funny text when you shaved after you moved to Mexico.
That was
like, I found too many chins. I got to grow this thing back.
Oh, dude, I saved all the hair too. I didn't know if I could make a beard wig out of it.
Oh, you did not.
No, I do. I still have it all in a baggie. I'll bring it next show. It's just hair. Why you look like you're going to throw up?
Because that's one of my hair in places where it doesn't belong grosses me out. Like
off my face.
Taking a shower or
yeah. On the side of the sink. That's what I get in trouble for. Where it's all
I need to get a haircut. I'm supposed to have a haircut.
It's looking a little long.
Baggy, yeah.
Yeah.
You got a long-haired hippie coming down next week too, I think, right?
Oh yeah, Oscar's going to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah, go Cats. He's a big Wildcats fan. And I got up this morning and I started just doing my thing, and then what threw off I think the whole day was my wife comes. She texts me. She's like right outside. She texts me that the car won't start. I'm like, what? So I go down there and needed a new battery. So then I had to go run to AutoZone, get a new battery. And in the middle of that, I had a board meeting that I took, and then a development meeting. So it's just, it's a crazy day so far. But yeah, here we are. We're going to talk about security things.
Yep.
We are.
How's your bidet working, Mel? So far, so good?
0 people have hacked it.
Actually, funny story. Like 2 days later, Mel calls me frantic at night, and what was it? Was it Gordy? It was So Gordy's screaming from the basement. It's attacking me. What is it? It's attacking me. The
water is coming for me.
The toilet water is coming for me. And the first thing I thought of, did Evan get at your bidet and did take over your toilet? Coincidentally, the drains plugged up or something, and so
it was like the one toilet in my house that doesn't have a bidet, and that's the one that he was utilizing. And anyway,
okay,
yeah,
but
it was a whole thing.
I have a bunch of people down here right now from FR Secured. Melissa. I always say her last name wrong. Shenley. It's got a K in it. I don't know how you get out of KJ, but I guess Norwegians do that stuff. But I was, my garage door was open. And so I leaned over the edge it's like down a couple floors. So I leaned over the edge and I said, "Close sesame." And she goes, "That works?" And I'm like, "No." But that's the thing. When people think that you can do some cool stuff, but it's really easy to mislead people into thinking that I hacked your bidet or that I can make my garage door close by just yelling "close sesame." I could do that, but man, you got to think about the work effort to what it means. I guess it would be cool. Maybe I'll do it now. I mean, later. Now that the car's working again.
There you go.
Should we hack something? Should we demonstrate a hack today?
We can.
We could. It's not on the agenda, but I'll allow for it once. You get one pass.
We do have an agenda, right? We do have an agenda. Where's that?
Well, so I was kind of teeing it up by talking about how cold it has been here, which you don't have that problem there. But our whole theme for today is staying cozy, and how that impacts you as a person, but also how that affects you online. And so, the first thing that I was going to kind of ask is, do you, now the three of you, I can't say either of you, do any of you have some sort of ritual or thing that you do, especially in the winter months, at least where we are, it's like the days are shorter, it gets dark earlier, it's cold. Do you have something that you do that is like this, gives you the cozy feeling and helps you get through the cold and the dark of winter?
Hmm. I no.
Yeah,
I usually
lies.
I
Toby.
usually I usually turn on we have a gas fireplace next to my office. So I'll turn that on and crank it up and get it nice and warm.
No cozy crafts you want to share with the class?
I've been I've been trying to attempt Italian meatballs. I've been making them. My kid loves meatball sandwiches from Costco, so found this really nice recipe. It's beef and sausage, Italian sausage mixed together. Made meatballs. I asked them how they were, and they said they like the Costco ones better, and which broke my heart. But I kept at it, so I got another. So I've been trying to cook more and do a little bit more of like soups or that type of stuff. But other crafting, no, not really.
Do you hear my dog?
Yeah.
Mhm. Yes, my dog heard your dog, so this could get
Yeah.
interesting.
Is that Violet?
Yeah. That's my cozy. I mean, it's the cozy stuff for me is just trying to maintain sanity some days, I think. It so in the morning, I try to spend some time, Jesus, do some praying and read some Bible stuff. And then, we have the ritual would be to take the dogs for a walk. They love that. It's good to get out and, kind of get away from all the computer stuff all the time. I think the most of the ritual stuff isn't so much to maintain like online safety or, anything like that. It's to maintain sanity for me.
Right.
I started seeing a therapist last week, which is pretty cool.
That is cool.
Like the first time, we started talking, we spent like 45 minutes, and he's like, hey, I got to build trust and all that stuff. And at the end, he's like, so what'd you think? And I go, I think you're weird. And he's like, you just kind of taken aback. I go, but I think that's probably good because, I'm weird too. So I think we'll get along pretty well. But that's been my focus,
really
especially the last like 6 months, is the more you spend, I think, online, the more you spend in social media, the more you spend, with the news and just all the shit. It's really easy to just kind of lose your bearings. And so I've been trying to get cozy with just my own self and my own head, really.
Wow, that's a great spot. How about you,
Andrew,
Andrew?
you gotta hop in there, Andrew.
Yeah, I'm a big sunlight in the morning guy, even though it's probably the opposite of cozy since it's 0 degrees to get sunlight in the morning in Minneapolis. So, like Evan, I have a dog as well. I typically walk outside to start the day and let my snot freeze to my upper lip and all the fun things that come along with that. Kennedy knows this. I've been coaching hockey this year as well, too. So I spend a lot of time at the end of the day, too, which is a good way to decompress and get beat up and down the ice by 9-year-olds and learn all sorts of new languages of 9-year-olds and what they're speaking today.
How many times have you fallen down?
A lot. I actually hit my head pretty hard 2 weeks ago, so thankfully we have helmets on when we're doing that. But it's not, my ego went out the door about the second day I was there when I was falling down and getting beat by 9-year-olds. Now I worry about them. They come 90 miles an hour, right? You're kind of knee height. And I'm more worried about tearing an ACL or doing something like that than I am falling on my butt. So, but I fall a lot.
Yeah, there's something else, really valuable around that same area there. You got to protect,
Yep.
Yeah. Very true.
No high sticking. How about you, Mel? What have you been doing?
Well, I'm a big, let's see if I can do this without revealing how messy my office really is. I'm candles. Always. I'm a candle lady. And my office assistant is always present. My beautiful little Aussie, Samus. She hangs out in here. She's very cozy and snuggly. But I am a big soup maker. I love soup. I enjoy like the labor of love that is making a good bone broth and turning that into something delicious. So
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, you talked about that mental health stuff too. Is for me, I have a hard time during this because of the cold of staying active. Right? It's can only go snowshoeing or sledding down the hill or winter sport activities. But I had a friend of mine visit me right before Christmas and in our new office space here. And he, as soon as he walked in, he said, "Where are the stairs?" So then I took the next week trying to figure out where the stairs were. And that's been my goal, is to only take the stairs every day. So I usually and we're 6 flights up. So I usually get maybe 3 or 4 trips up and down the stairs, trying to stay that active, keep that mental. But
I still only have 7 on there. I've only done it
only
7 times.
7?
I was looking at the count that you put on the whiteboard.
Yeah, I started challenging Andrew and others in the office too to take the stairs. But it's funny, as I'm going up and down these stairs, I look at it's like this, the pen test side of me comes in, because I'm starting to look, people have badge readers on the wall to get into their space. Some of them are just locked. And I think, oh, I wonder if I could pop into that and cut over through that space. I don't know. I ever see anybody else in the stairwell. I'm wondering, could I pull that off the wall and tap the wires and get in? So thankfully, I haven't done a B&E in the last couple of years. So I try to keep that off on my list of things.
We appreciate it. Well, that is a good segue into one of the other things we're going to talk about, which is, the mental health, the physical health, and how you are staying connected with family, friends when it's too cold to go outside, or just don't have that energy. I don't know about you guys, but when the weather gets like this, the days are short, it's dark longer than it's light, I struggle to leave and go do things that normally are fun to me. I don't want to go, I don't want to leave. So I'm curious how you guys stay connected, and if you get in that rut of, I don't want to go out.
I get in that rut all the time. I mean, I'm an introvert for one, and 2, I grew up an only child, so I'm always been comfortable being alone. But and I live, it's 81 degrees here, so I don't think it for me, it doesn't have anything to do necessarily with the weather or things. It's just getting out of balance. I think that's a part. You mentioned, staying connected with family, staying connected with my kids and my grandkids and all that stuff. I don't think I've done a very good job of that. I think when you notice things that you should be doing that you're not doing, and you lack the motivation for it, for me, it starts to snowball, because then I start to feel maybe insufficient, guilty a little bit. And so I go back to where my comfort zone is, which is by myself, which then just makes it worse, right? So you have to break the cycle. I have to break the cycle. So that's one of the reasons why, I've always preached about mental health. And I started to feel sort of like a hypocrite on that too. It's like, I believe that everybody, there's nothing wrong with having a therapist. I think everybody should have a therapist. I think there's so much value to having a therapist, yet I didn't have a therapist. So that's one of the reasons why I started going there, was just to get out of my own damn head, understand, and the thing about a therapist that really helps is it's somebody that's not going to judge me. It's somebody who's really not biased. My wife has always been my therapist, but she's in the weeds with me and shit. So anyway,
Yeah.
I just have to be self-aware, notice that I am shutting in, that I am shutting down, that I'm not connecting, and all that stuff's going to get worse if I don't do something about it.
Well, and you're not alone in that too. I mean, I similar. My sister is 7, 8 years older than I am, so I pretty much that whole preteen, teen year was by myself as well, like almost an only child, because she was gone. And where I find that disconnect piece, where I just, because my ADD keeps me inside my head, so everything is just spinning constantly inside there, and I struggle with, because I'll think about friends and I'll think about reaching out to people at 1 a.m. and then I'm like, I can't, send those messages, they're asleep, or I'll text them tomorrow, and then I forget. But my wife and I, Jill and I, have gone to counseling our entire marriage together, and has always kind of kept us in that way to communicate. And then I've gone as well. I have a couple of things that I do that kind of give me that outlet as well. And when you were talking about the mental health, that made me think of there's something I learned at my time at one of the only things I learned from Optum was that, the shadow we cast, and, we cast a shadow that people look at, and why it's always been, the authenticity, the openness about, our mental health and aspects of stuff, that it's really important to share that with others so that they feel like they're not alone. That whole thing that we, fuck stigma, and you got to take that shit away. So
yeah, it's crazy, man. That, because when I share, because I just started, a week and a half ago or whatever, and you share that, I've started seeing a therapist. I was sharing it with you not because I want empathy or sympathy. I mean, I want to share it so that you feel comfortable yourself, in examining the same kind of things. But, it's like immediately when you share it, people are like, oh, what are you going through? Are you all right? And it's like, I appreciate you feeling like that, but that just adds to the stigma, right? I'm going to see a therapist because I don't want to get there potentially. I mean, I would need a therapist, obviously, maybe not obviously, but in crisis mode too. But you don't have to be in crisis mode to see therapists. You don't have to be in crisis mode to take care of your mental health. You don't have to be a fat ass like me before you get off your, and start walking the stairs.
Right.
You want to do this stuff if you can prior to that. And if you don't take care of this shit when it's already the shit, it's not going to get better by itself. It's not just going to magically, oh, my brain is better now and I'm feeling like everything's under control. So I think the more you talk about it, the more you beat that stigma into the ground, because it is just bullshit. And I think people die. I think people actually die because of the stigma.
Yeah. No, they do. I agree. Yeah.
Andrew?
Yeah.
You're so quiet over there, brother. I feel like we're brothers now. We just met for the first time, but I would give you a hug if you were here with me right now.
Introverted as well. I don't know. It's same thing. I think I'm a momentum guy, one way or the other. If I'm sitting on the couch for days after days, I'll say sitting on the couch. If I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to go work out, I'm getting up at 5 a.m. to go work out, and I'm kind of all in or all not in. So I think breaking the cycle is important. Talked a little bit about that. Looking forward to things that are on the horizon, vacations, special events with the family, things like that, just to keep it going. And I don't know, I try and do my best to call my mom every once in a while on the way home from work. I think being in the office has helped having that commute in both ways. I'm not sure I could go back to working remotely for great periods of time, because it's just nice to be able to get outside and change scenery. It all kind of adds up both ways. So
yeah, that's a politically charged subject, the work from home, work remote thing, which is sad because it shouldn't be. It should be an individual. I mean, I don't know. Everybody's different.
Yeah.
Some people thrive in the office. Some people thrive at home. I mean, it kind of sucks that we do this one size fits all for everybody,
Yeah. Agreed.
What else we got, Mel? What else you want to talk about, Mel? You're the conversationalist.
Well, I'm the extrovert in the crew, so I guess
you're
that
the
works.
Awesome of the crew. We're supporting cast here.
Yeah.
I'm here for you. I'm just here to keep you moving along. That's all.
I can move along for sure.
Okay.
I'm good at moving along.
Yeah.
Then I forget where I was going. Then I forget how I got here. What the hell? Like the podcast, by the way. Like, oh, all right. Here we are. Let's talk about things.
Pete. All right. Well, we'll tie this back into cybersecurity, because that's what we do well here. We blend the balancing, good mental health.
Mike Tyson says that? He says cybersecurity. Just saying.
Cybersecurity.
If Mike Tyson worked in cybersecurity, he would say cybersecurity.
Are we allowed to laugh at that?
Yeah, why wouldn't you? There's
know.
memes all over the internet for that.
Yeah.
There.
I got my clothes on still. It's good.
Well, we can only verify that from the waist up, Evan.
That's true. That is true.
So I'm curious, with the increased online activity, Evan, and you brought up you had board meetings and other things today, and I'm assuming you didn't take those in person from Mexico.
No.
You probably did them online. We certainly do a lot of that. So what tips or other, tricks do you guys have for keeping those connections secure and ensuring that those meetings are, whether they're for remote work or, Zooming with your family who's far away? How do you guys make sure you're being safe about it?
That's a good question. Mike, you want to take it?
Yeah, I was.
I give you all the hard questions. Mine are the easy ones.
I know. I appreciate it. Never use Google Meets.
What? It's Google.
Yep. Nope. Refuse.
You can trust Google. Come on, man.
Nope.
Conspiracy theorist.
I have. I feel like. I don't know. I get set in my ways, and I don't like things, and they stick. Most of the time, it's really just kind of creating that. Again, going back to the shadow, creating that shadow with the kids and the family on what we're doing and what we're giving stuff up to, the apps that they're looking to get installed, or when TikTok was going to get banned, all the conversation about moving to a different solution and the security concerns around that, just driving some of that awareness through is really, I guess, other than that, it's more around just ensuring that I know what I'm clicking on, or know what people are clicking on, or what they're doing with stuff, creating that. Funny. I had a conversation with some people yesterday, and we started getting on some phishing and awareness, and it got me going because I really wanted to focus on how we need to create a culture of security. It's not a culture of shame or a culture of some other behavior around a phishing campaign or clicking on something or using Google Meets. It's around creating this culture of that security is top of mind for us, and we question, ask why. So that's kind of, I guess, a constant. If I go back to that shadow casting, that's a constant theme of trying to just create that. So,
yeah.
Sorry, I oriented.
No, dude, that's awesome. We were talking, Melissa's down here, and she wanted to show me her presentation she's giving, I think next Thursday at what's that name of the women's conference? I forgot.
Oh, Heroics.
Yeah.
Heroics.
Which, I'm so proud of our team for taking the initiative on that. We teach that we overthink like everything. It seems like, if you see a problem, create a solution to go after it. You know what I mean? And so that's what the team did on this Heroics. But she was showing me her presentation, and she was talking about this. She was talking about, employee awareness. And I think one of the things that people miss, and I think one of the reasons why people are resistant to a lot of the awareness stuff, is because it doesn't fit your culture, right? It's got to be integrated into there's things about your culture that make you unique, right? FR Secure is a very unique company. It's got a very unique culture. Usually the person who sets the culture, it would be whoever's at the top, would be the founder, the CEO, they set the culture for the organization. And that's why it's so important for them to be bought in with this awareness campaign that you're going to be doing, because it starts there. The culture starts there. But in terms of like online meetings and stuff like that, I don't freak out too much about it. It's most of the things we're discussing in most meetings are things that if they got out into the public, it's not going to kill you. It's not a public meeting, but we're not talking about super sensitive things like the board meeting today. It was on Zoom, which, it's adequate. I mean, it's not, Zoom is just like a tool, just like any other tool that you'd be using for a meeting platform. It's how you use it that's really going to matter, right? So, we're a security team, and we pretty much know how to use Zoom, securely. And
what about those like the AI note takers? Or
I'm not a fan. we haven't had to go to we've talked about it, but it's not something that we've had to like ban it.
Sure.
I don't like it because it just puts the information into another form and it puts it into another place. And the more you create more copies and forms of the information you're using, the more you have to, it just adds complexity to the whole equation. So I'm not a fan of, anything like that. And I think one of the things that, as we're working remote, that sometimes people miss is who's around you while you're having these conversations. Having something like noise canceling headphones while I'm in the meeting, but also before I say something, make sure that, I'm in a spot where I can say what I need to say without, so it's stuff like that. It's the eavesdropping that probably concerns me the most when I'm having online meetings. But the technology itself, it's how you use it, I think.
Yeah.
Because you can hack fucking everything. So it's like, well, what about this one little way you can hack something? Sure. If we were being targeted by the Russians on this board meeting right now, I'd probably be a little concerned, but I probably know that already anyway. So just have the damn meeting.
Yeah.
So I'm curious if you guys have experienced anything. Maybe you've had that like awkward moment or something funny that happened while you're in the middle of doing something, whether it's, a suspicious link that you got or something that happened during a meeting that made you kind of double check your digital security.
Okay. You said something entertaining that's happened?
Or funny. Yeah. You have like
that starts in the morning trying to get my damn underwear or my socks and shoes on. That's entertaining. Mm-hmm. And it just kind of goes the rest of the day. If I can secure my digital life, there's so much hope for the rest of you folks.
Oh yeah.
Because I am chaotic. But a story in particular, most of them probably come from other people.
Mm.
Stories.
I have one.
Like my mother will call and tell me something that she did, or my wife, but most of the stuff I do is fairly straightforward. It's fairly boring. I can't remember the last time I fell for an attack. That might be concerning too. The fact that I don't know I fell for an attack. It's situational awareness is what it all comes down to. When you're doing the things you do, understand the situation you're in, understand what's going on around you, understand what the potential threats are, understand what your potential weaknesses are, and then, compensate where necessary. If something shitty happens, what would be the plan to get you back? And, it's just, I think the thing about me and Mike, and I think a lot of other, cybersecurity professionals is this is just a lifestyle. It's a life skill. It's not something that I have to think really hard about all the time, but I had to at the beginning. And I think that's the hump we need to get people over is it does feel really mechanical. And sometimes it feels like you're being maybe a little paranoid. Paranoia only comes from the lack of situational awareness. If you actually understood the situation that you were in, you wouldn't be paranoid at all.
Right.
You'd feel empowered. You'd feel like, okay, I know what's going on. So, but it's for most people, I think it's just mechanical and you have to get over that hump and you just have to fight through it and make it a life skill for you. And I think that's why I don't have a lot of those stories recently, other than shit I just break on, sort of on purpose. Mike, do you have any recent stories? I got stories from in the past. God, I got a ton of those.
Not really, not too recent, but during COVID, when Zoom first came out and everybody was doing Zoom, and when we remember the Zoom bombing that people would join Zoom calls, and I ended up with people. I had someone on her phone once join on her phone, and she stuffed it in her bra. She was getting up to go to the kitchen or something, and it's where she put it instead of a pocket around a table. I had another one that shut off his camera but forgot to mute and went and took a piss in the bathroom. And
I still do that.
Yeah, during meetings. But no, I've gotten a lot of phishing stuff lately, but that are just fun to look at and see. But I know your son, I think Andrew has done some stuff with his, cyber guy or.
Yeah, they do it they do in school. He's in fourth grade. He showed me what it was one time, but he created, now you're putting on the spot. I can't remember what it is. Cyber Kid, Adventures of Cyber Kid, something like that. Talking about
Nice.
password hygiene and different things like that. So it's fun that it's just part of his vernacular and part of their day to day. And, sometimes wish my wife paid a little bit more attention to it than my 9-year-old does, but that happens. I think those early days of Zoom, it's funny to think about. The thing I always freak out about is what's written on the wall behind me, or what's behind me, what's on my desk. Is it visible? I was just on a flight, and the guy next to me was working on financial statements for his company and something like that. People just don't realize how close we're sitting to everybody in every position, and what you can easily see, even if we try not to see it. Those are, just kind of common sense stuff, but it's not that common sense, I think.
No, yeah.
But I love it, man. You just drove home the point of that situational awareness, right? Understanding that you're in a meeting, what's going on around me, am I showing, that's huge. And you learn that same kind of stuff. I mean, if you can take the physical world, like when you walk in a sketchy neighborhood, you're paying attention probably, but it's that same kind of thing, taking that same sort of mentality. I would still go through, if there was a purpose to go through that scary neighborhood, I'd still go through it to get to whatever it is I was doing. But think of the internet. I mean, that's a really scary damn neighborhood, and so, yeah, it's that situational awareness is huge. Drive that home. I love the fact that we're teaching kids more about this stuff. And you mentioned your wife, and we talked about awareness too. If you ever get a chance and you're interested in this stuff, study some psychology and what makes people do what they do. When you went to Psych 101 in college, it talked about Pavlov and the dogs, right? What motivated them was the reward or pain, right? And I think humans are much the same way. I mean, I hate to say it, but I've taught my wife certain lessons by letting her deal with the pain of it. I mean, it sounds bad. I mean, I'm still there to help you. I'm not going to let something really bad happen, but I just know enough that if you're not going to suffer a consequence for your shitty passwords, then I'm tired of continuing to fix your shitty password problems.
Right.
So then help me. I'm like, well, what happened? Somebody got into my account. Okay. Are you going to help me? I don't know. What do you want to do? Just kind of put it on them so they can, because otherwise they're not going to change the behavior. If there's always somebody there to bail them out, we see that happen, all throughout the industry. That's why banking, you have Regulation E. If a hacker got into my bank account and stole all my money, I get all my money back. Even if it was shitty behaviors. That sucks, man, because that 50, all that money you got back, that's got to come from somewhere. And it comes from, the population. We all end up paying the price for it.
Yeah, for sure.
So hack your wife more. It's fun.
My sister called me the other day. We were talking and she goes, okay, this is really why I called. Don't yell at me. Great. Okay. Because I've given her shit of I've been doing customer demos and showed her and then texted her, said, why are you using this password? So she was being, bothered by somebody and I helped her, but it was, yeah.
Well, it feels uncomfortable, right? I would do the same thing with my children, right?
Yeah.
You have to let your children have some consequences in order for them to learn the good behaviors, right?
Right. Yep.
And so it seems like and feels uncomfortable because it feels like you're being mean. It's all coming out of love.
Right.
I want the people around me to have better, healthier habits. And if you have to suffer a little bit to get those healthier habits, I think in the end you end up winning. And I'd rather have that, so people give me shit about that, but I kind of believe it.
I was just it kind of reminded me. I was reading this article about a new parenting style that's come out that people are using. It's called FAFO, FAFO, fuck around and find out.
Yeah.
So they're allowing their
that every day.
yeah. I was
know,
like,
that's how I was raised.
New parent style, right? That's what I thought too. I was like, oh, okay. Now people are starting to realize how I was raised. Yeah. Anyway, so I was just kind of the same thing. It's like, all right, well, here's where the boundaries are. Figure it out. Let's feel what the consequences. I'm there for you, but
right.
So.
How else are you going to learn right from wrong? I look back at my history in this industry, because now you kind of take on this mentorship role. You know what I mean? I'm not a player as much as I am a coach nowadays. And you think back, and I have learned more through breaking shit than I've ever learned in fixing shit or just doing what other people told me. You break something, you learn how to fix it. And the reason why I had to fix it is because there was nobody else around to fix it, and that was a lot of high stress, situations, but those are the things you just never forget. And they just become part of kind of who you are.
Right.
It's, I think we should have more psychologists in cybersecurity just to try to help people, social engineer people more for good. Not for bad.
No, to help.
Yeah.
Well, as we are in the wrap it up phase of this lovely hour that we got to spend together, would ask, do you guys have maybe one last piece of advice or key takeaway for everyone at home, kind of blending, again, we talked a lot about mental health and physical health this time of year, but also your cyber hygiene and how we're, protecting ourselves in that regard too. So any other final, it's like Jerry Springer moment, final thoughts for the audience.
Final thoughts. I think each one of us should make a funny face for the camera. That's a good one, Michael.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Mel, give me a funny face.
This is my funny face. I don't know. I don't know. There you go. I could do
Oh, yeah, I like Andrew's. Blowfish.
Oh, you did the blowfish?
Yeah, remember that joke as a kid?
When I do this, I look like a gorilla. Like a hairy gorilla. Gorillas are hairy. I've seen them. Not recently, but I have. So, cyber hygiene. Do you think how many people know what the hell cyber hygiene even means? We use that word a lot. It's kind of a buzzword in our industry, like cyber hygiene. And people are like, yeah, you got to do your cyber hygiene. Like brush my teeth and wipe my ass.
Kind of like that.
It is. A little
change
bit.
your passwords, check your app permission.
Yeah. Like because I was asked that, and it made me think. I was like, oh shit, yeah, I just assumed you knew what the hell cyber hygiene meant. Protecting your passwords, your authentication, right? Understanding how many accounts you have, taking inventory of those things. But I think what would be beneficial is maybe if we come up with like this is what cyber hygiene is. Do these things, but not the bullshit way that you've seen out in other places, but like doable things ordered put in order of importance, right? So if information security is risk management, which one of these things in general would reduce risk the most for people?
Heard is that Evan's going to come prepared with that for the next episode, and we're going to have a handout and everything because that sounds.
I have my perspective on this, but I think you have to realize how the importance of like other people's perspectives. Like I'd love to hear what Andrew thinks. I'd love to hear what Michael thinks. I'd love to hear what you think, Mel, maybe because everybody's got an opinion. Everybody's got a different perspective. My perspective might be a little more hardcore in your face than, because my perspective isn't going to work it'll work for a small population. Others, it'll probably offend or they'll get confused. They won't use it. But I think we need to do a much better job of really defining what cyber hygiene is for everybody. I don't know.
Sounds like a blog post.
Oh God, it's more work. Let's delegate this.
We'll just grok or chat. And
let's
delegate it to Andrew. He looks ready.
Yeah.
The one thing I always tell people is stop using your debit cards. And I learned that from Mr. Kennedy. So I feel like it's the one that people understand and you can talk about.
Yeah, my
go
dogs
from
are
there
barking.
and kind of work backwards. I don't know. It would be helpful. It's hard to talk to my parents about cybersecurity. So if you guys got a top 5 things to talk to your boomer parents about, let me know.
Oh my God, I would never call my parents boomers because then they would murder me dead. But I did get like the cutest phone call from my dad yesterday. I was in the middle of like pitching to a prospect too. And like my phone is ringing and then I get text message and I'm like, okay, I said, I'm really sorry. My dad never calls me during the day. Something must be up. 2 seconds. Hey, what's up? Where are you? Are you safe? Yeah, I'm at my desk. I'm working. What's going on? Because I just got a phone call from somebody in Louisiana and they said that I was your point of contact for an emergency and they needed to talk to me. And I was like, oh. And he goes, I told them I didn't know anything about what they were talking about and I hung up. I'm like, good job. But like
Family code words. You need the family code word.
100%. Like, and again, like my parents are not, they're young. So I would never refer to my dad as a boomer. He's like, I don't know, 60 something. He's young. He's a kid. But I was very, I was proud. I was like a proud kid moment.
Yeah, that's awesome.
You called me instead of giving them information. Good job.
That's cool. And thanks for sharing it because it encourages other people, you know?
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yep. Talk to your parents. Yeah, for sure.
Well, in the list of cyber hygiene things, 20 years ago, that list was a lot smaller than it is today.
5 years ago, even too.
Right. So, the list is longer and it's a lot more work. And the reason why is because your life is more complex. You're using more applications than you've ever used before, using more message apps than you've ever used before. You've got more electronic things than you've ever had before. Just in your house, when you think about how many things you've got connected to the network, your cyber hygiene list is longer because you made it longer. It's not, if you want to be responsible, it's like everything. You can use your shit irresponsibly or you could use your shit responsibly. When we give you a list of cyber hygiene things, those are things to use your shit responsibly. It's your choice if you want to use your shit irresponsibly, but you kind of get to this point, like, if you've chosen to use your shit irresponsibly, I don't want to help you.
Right.
I'd rather focus my time and attention on people that are committed to using their shit responsibly. Right. So it's just, the list is so much longer than it used to be, but we can definitely put something together, like patching your applications would be probably one. And if you look at, most people don't know how many applications they have on their phone right now. You probably need to know that because you've probably got a whole bunch of applications that you just downloaded, for some reason, and you're never using it again, or you haven't used it for some time. Well, every single application that you have on your phone stores information, sends information. It's every single one of them has bugs, and everything beyond
policy you haven't. Yeah.
Everything beyond Hello World has a bug in it. Some of those bugs are functionality bugs. Some of those bugs are, security vulnerabilities. So I think we got a lot of work to do on this, and we just need to, I think if there was one piece of advice I would give people out of the gate is slow down. Not just slow down from a cybersecurity perspective, but slow down from a mental health perspective too. You've got this fear of missing out. So you got to keep it, slow down, take inventory, like going to a therapist, take inventory of what you have, focus on the things that matter the most in your life when it comes to technology. And that's a good start, right? For your cyber hygiene. It has nothing to do with passwords. We'll get to passwords later. That's coming. Yeah. Why maintain all those damn passwords on apps you don't need?
Right.
So anyway, I preached a little bit.
No, that was beautiful. I love that. Yep. How many apps do you have on your phone, Andrew? Settings.
We did this before, didn't we? You guys want to guess? Well, I'm getting there.
85.
Yeah, I'll tell. Yeah, but good, Mike. Are we all Apple users here?
I have I have 124 apps on my phone.
Okay, because if you're an Apple user, go to, like Mike was telling you, go to settings, then go to general, and then what?
It's under under about general
I know.
and then
I'm just
about.
trying to find my about. So settings, general, about, and you'll see songs, videos, photos, applications, and that's your applications number.
I have, what was your guess?
85.
136, but I'm guessing 55 of those are things a child has downloaded on his phone. So
Children are little walking viruses.
All privacy policies you haven't read or understand what jealous.
42.
Well, I have to because, man, it gets overwhelming. Son of a bitch. And then, so Mel, you're not using an Apple
No, I'm an
device?
Android.
Do you know how to find how many apps you have on your phone?
I have 101.
Okay. Do you know how to tell people how to find it?
I don't know. I just look and,
Okay.
and did math because there's 30 apps on a screen, and I have
Okay.
3 seconds worth of apps, and then 11 on the last one.
Yeah. I don't use an Android, so I don't know the steps to find that, but
And
be a
maybe
good
there's
idea.
a quick way.
Yeah. And same with you think, like I have what I use every day, just every day, is I have 2 iPads, my iPhone, and my MacBook. Those are daily things that I'm always using. And it's really easy just to get fat on your shit, like you installed something, maybe you're just testing it and you forgot that you left it there. And the reason why I break it down like that is because they have to be purpose-driven devices now. That's what I use daily. Then you also have systems that you use. I have a system that I use for hacking stuff. That's all it's used for. I still have systems around that had specific personas associated with them. But that's another thing you can do is if you have too much on one system, start splicing it out so that you have specialized systems. But, it's getting more advanced probably.
Yeah.
Like I have one iPad. I just use it for playing piano. That's it.
Well, it's you don't have. It doesn't have to be when you start talking about different systems. It doesn't have to be another physical device. Like in my conversation with my sister, was like, use the hide my email function inside Apple, or if you're doing like things that I do, I have like all my shopping stuff is a whole other account, and that's all it's used for. And so if I get any type of shopping data or emails or whatever in anything else, it's fake because none of it exists outside of this box over here.
Yep.
And so, I segment those different things. It doesn't have to be a dedicated, device or system. It can be a process as well. So
yeah, we've gotten away from that though. Remember in the earlier days, we had purpose-driven systems.
Mm-hmm.
Like my firewall did firewalling.
Yep.
That was it. My router routed. My switch switched. And there was some elegance to that because when it was easier to identify when things were misbehaving or doing things different, it was also easier to troubleshoot things.
Right.
But when you collapsed everything, kind of this, one system or one application can do everything. Man, that can be a rat's nest, try to figure out what the hell's going on.
Yeah. Well, and that's your first flag. It's total bullshit. Can't do everything. Firewall.
Yep. Tell it to Microsoft.
Yeah.
Wait, did I say that out loud again?
There's
Palo
a
Alto
long
just
list
had
of it.
Palo Alto just had a Palo Alto just had a really, really big vulnerability. I don't know if you saw that.
Yep. We did see that because we're a Palo Alto shop here at the Great Austria. So we were on top of it.
Yeah, it was a naughty one.
But everybody, right? It's the flavor of the day.
Yeah.
All right, Mel. Anything else?
Want to talk about politics or anything?
Nope. Time's up.
All
You
right.
were tardy. No.
I was tardy. Yep. And if I was like, this is another stupid, this is what goes on in my brain. Like if I'm tardy again, that makes me retardy.
I just want to point out real quick, because we're going to segue away from that. I just want to point out that it was my text message that prompted Evan to join.
Oh, it was yours?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Not mine.
Not your FaceTime.
Not my FaceTime call. Not my message on Signal.
It was a text from a stranger.
Yeah, I didn't know who the number was. It just says, "Hey, Evan, hope all is well. Missing you," and you're not in my contact list, so I didn't know who it was.
Well, I
Yeah.
am now.
Yeah. And my
It's just-
FaceTime came through and be like, "Ding."
Oh yeah, there's a signal message. Yeah. All right, where are you at? Okay. There's so
Well,
many
thank
apps for messaging.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, for sure.
Andrew, thank you for hopping in.
Happy to. Yeah, anytime. Hope you welcome me back.
If you join us again, we're going to have to ask you to be less talkative. It was really a
Sure.
long day.
I don't want to overwhelm you guys. Next time I'll try and do a little bit less.
I like that.
All right. Well, thanks, guys. Have a good one.
Yep.
You have a good
Yeah.
one, Mel.
I will, Evan. Thank you.
Thanks,
All right.
Mel.
All right. Take care.